Hi guys, welcome to my official 2023 Inktober compilation video where I illustrate and discuss 31 different phobias. If you're interested, you can find an illustrated book of the entire phobia collection in my shop, which include all 31 drawings. You can find the link to that as well as to my social media pages in the description. Be sure to subscribe for more art videos like this, and thank you for another amazing year. Holding the title of the most common phobia in the world, arachnophobia is the intense fear of spiders and other arachnids. Some people think the fear comes from a survival instinct that has been passed down from our ancestors as an evolutionary adaptation to fear spiders due to the harm they can sometimes cause. The fear can also develop during childhood if a child sees their parents exude a strong fear of spiders themselves. Kicking off day 2 with another one of the more common phobias, acrophobia, which is known as the intense fear of heights. Many people with this phobia experience extreme instances of vertigo or motion sickness when exposed to heights, or even just thinking about being up in a high place. If you have trouble looking down from a tall building or looking up at an extremely tall structure, you may have acrophobia. While I know my interpretation is not very literal, I thought I'd explain it a bit. I basically imagined that someone with acrophobia might have this irrational, reoccurring thought of being carried up to an extremely high place against their will, so that's how I came up with this image. Selenophobia is an uncommon phobia that refers to the irrational fear of the moon. It can develop from childhood experiences, cultural beliefs, mythology, or fear of the unknown. Throughout history, the full moon has been associated with making people act out or commit more crimes. This could be a reason behind why people with selenophobia get uncomfortable thinking about the moon, especially when it's full. The moon has also been associated with magic and having the ability to transform people. Selenophobia could also be associated with megalophobia, which is the fear of extremely large objects. People may find discomfort looking at the moon due to its large size, or may even have nightmares of it falling from the sky, especially if you played Majora's Mask as a kid. And just for fun, here's the original drawing I did for the same prompt back in 2018. I think it's really cool to see how my style has evolved. I feel like the original is very ethereal and pretty, and now I've kind of delved into the more gothic style, so there's definitely a pretty big difference there. Trypanophobia is the intense fear of needles or injections. Although this is quite common and most people in general don't particularly like needles, having trypanophobia can fully prevent someone from receiving necessary medical care. While any phobia is uncomfortable to live with, trypanophobia can have severe consequences for this reason. Cardiophobia is the overwhelming fear of the heart or having heart problems. People with this phobia may come from a family with a history of heart disease and will avoid anything that tends to increase their heart rate. Oftentimes, the symptoms that they associate with heart problems are actually caused by their anxiety. For someone with cardiophobia, it's difficult to see the difference between the two. It's common for someone with cardiophobia to either make excessive medical appointments or avoid them altogether. They have persistent intrusive thoughts about heart-related issues and compulsively monitor their heart rate. Here's the original drawing that I did for the same prompt back in 2018. I wasn't even really thinking of this drawing when I did the one for today, but I find it kind of funny how they're very similar, just drawn very differently. Emetophobia is the intense fear of eyes. People with this fear will often go to great lengths to avoid situations where they will be looked at and typically have had a traumatic experience involving eyes. They typically avoid eye contact, and any problem related to their vision can trigger intense anxiety. People with emetophobia may also have the fear of putting things near or in their eyes, such as contacts. I've specifically always wanted to draw a biblically accurate angel, my own depiction of that, and this is when I took that opportunity, because when I saw the fear was eyes, I was like, oh, I know exactly what to do. I know we're only on day 6, but it's definitely my favorite out of the bunch so far. Here's another throwback to the drawing I did in 2018. I clearly went a bit more biblical this time around. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 7. Ophidiophobia is the profound fear of snakes. This fear is actually one of the most common in the world, and like arachnophobia, it most likely stems from evolution. Some snakes are venomous, and in order to survive, our minds have been programmed to have a visceral reaction to animals that may cause us harm. The fear of snakes can also come from superstitions or cultural beliefs. Snakes have often been used as a symbol of evil. Some examples are the devil appearing as a snake in the story of Adam and Eve, and the Gorgons in Greek mythology. This is a photo of my snake, and I consider this scientific proof that snakes are not evil at all. And here is the version from 2018. As a former Catholic school girly, today's phobia is definitely one that I used to have. Hatophobia is the irrational fear of hell. Someone with this fear doesn't necessarily have to be religious, but they do typically have some religious values. The concept of hell has been depicted in nearly all religions, so the fear of judgment has been ingrained in humans for thousands of years. They may become overly concerned about doing things perfectly and pleasing whatever higher power they pray to. I decided to depict this phobia as someone going over the top, praying constantly, and wearing multiple rosaries. I also took some inspiration from a few Bible verses that mention the fire and chains in hell. Here's the 2018 version. Very, very different from the one I came up today, but I still love her. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 9. Masklophobia is the irrational fear of masks and costumes. This phobia generally occurs in children as it's more difficult for them to distinguish fantasy from reality. Masklophobia is also often accompanied by the fear of the unknown. Not being able to connect with a person's face can be unsettling to some, and knowing that the identity under the mask is anonymous gives a sort of uncanny valley feeling to masked people. I personally had this fear as a kid, specifically after reading the Goosebumps book, The Haunted Mask. I refused to put on masks for a really long time out of fear that it would attach to my face and take over my mind. Ichnophobia is an intense fear of sharp objects, such as needles, pins, knives, or scissors. While this fear is similar to trypanophobia, it differs from it slightly as it includes more than just medical needles. A person with ichnophobia may undergo intense fear and anxiety when they are around sharp objects, or may experience similar feelings of anxiety and distress when they are anticipating exposure to a sharp object. Often, ichnophobia occurs after a traumatic incident with a sharp object. However, it may sometimes develop as the result of an innate biological and psychological response to sharp objects since we associate them with pain. Mesophobia is the irrational fear of infections or contamination. It is also referred to as germophobia, which causes an overwhelming obsession with avoiding germs. This can become extremely isolating and even develop into agoraphobia, which is the fear of unfamiliar environments or having little control, which I think we've seen a lot of in the past couple of years. Typically, individuals with mesophobia have a family history of anxiety disorders or may have emotional trauma attached to an illness. This could stem from witnessing a loved one getting sick or losing them to an illness. All the plants in this drawing are ones that have been used in medicine over the years, and germs always make me think of plague masks, so that's how I came up with this design. Here's the version that I created in 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 12. Botanophobia is the profound fear of plants. People with this fear believe plants are harmful or dangerous, so they avoid them whenever they can. The main reason people may have botanophobia is because there are several plants that are toxic to humans. Plants can also be infested with bugs or harmful germs or bacteria, which coincides with mesophobia, the fear of germs. In contrast with yesterday's drawing where I drew plants used in medicine for healing purposes, today's drawing of course has poisonous plants and lots of thorns. Here's the version from 2018. I think out of all of them, these two are definitely the most different from each other. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 13. Phasmophobia is the intense fear of ghosts. Spirits have often been depicted as malevolent and dangerous, so the mere thought of any supernatural beings will evoke an anxious response in people with phasmophobia. It's extremely difficult for these individuals to be alone, and they usually have a fear of the dark as well. Tiny noises throughout the night will cause immense anxiety since they will almost always assume it was caused by a spirit. Personally, the first time I ever touched a Ouija board, I was maybe 8 or 9 at a sleepover, and my friend kept calling it a Luigi board, so I was like, oh, a new Mario game, hee hee. But it wasn't, and then all of a sudden I had the realization that I was talking to ghosts. Here's the 2018 version, and I also wanted to show my Halloween costume from 2018 that was inspired by my drawing, and I even got my fiance to join in on the costume, which is still probably my favorite costume we've ever done to this day. Thanatophobia is the overwhelming fear of passing on. People with this phobia tend to obsessively think about this happening, either to themselves or to their loved ones. Throughout history, people often pondered what happens to us after we pass on. However, people with thanatophobia experience immense challenges thinking about their futures. This existential anxiety often stems from the basic knowledge that ultimately every life must come to an end, and often their obsessive awareness of this turns into them refuting that it will happen at all. Here's the version that I came up with in 2018. I've definitely used this skull mask motif quite a bit in my drawings, but I'm pretty sure this was the first time that I ever used it. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 15. Odontophobia is the irrational fear of dental treatment. This can be triggered by a variety of factors, including a negative dental experience in the past or the fear of dental pain. This one definitely hits home for me because my own odontophobia is what inspired me to create the phobia series in general. For some reason, I convinced myself in 2018 that I was going to lose all of my teeth for no real reason that I can think of, and so this image basically popped into my head, and it sparked the idea to illustrate other phobias as well. Here's the version I created in 2018, and we're actually going to take it back even further to the first time I illustrated this idea in 2016. I had just watched The Witch for the first time, so I used Anya Taylor-Joy as my inspo, and she actually shared it on her Instagram, which was really cool. So this is now my third time redrawing this. And if you recognize this, I also painted it onto a skate deck, which I'll have a video of my painting process for that very soon. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 16. Hagiophobia is the fear of God, saints, and other religious symbols. Often this fear stems from a number of origins, including religious trauma, genetics, or cultural upbringing. Fear of the unknown is common when it comes to worshiping any deity. However, people with hagiophobia have an obsession with trying to appease their God while constantly feeling as they're failing to do so. Hagiophobia is often accompanied with the fear of judgment, and individuals may constantly live their lives thinking they are being observed and that they must act a certain way in order to appease their higher power. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 17. Oh Lord, how I've been dreading this day. Thalassophobia is the persistent fear of deep water. As with most phobias, this could be an evolutionary response as our survival instincts kick in when we feel that we're in danger. Another main cause of thalassophobia is the fear of the unknown. Only 5% of the ocean has been explored, meaning we've barely scratched the surface of underwater exploration. If you have thalassophobia like me, that fact alone will freak you out. I'm not even kidding, doing the research for this one had me sweating, and I'm so glad it's finally out of the way. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 18. Chirophobia is the irrational fear of hands. While this fear may be pretty uncommon, it often stems from a traumatic event involving one's hands. The fear can vary in intensity from mild discomfort to severe avoidance where hands are present. People with this phobia try to avoid using their hands as much as possible, which can be very difficult since we use our hands with almost everything we do. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 19. Wiccaphobia is the fear of witches or witchcraft. The most widespread case of this was, of course, during the Salem witch trials, where the fear of witchcraft was so prominent that many innocent people were condemned due to mass wiccaphobia. Wiccaphobia has its roots in the fear of the unknown. What the mind cannot perceive or deems unusual, it fears. Religious beliefs and folklore fuel this fear even further, with several childhood stories reinforcing witches as evil beings. This is the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 20. Agoraphobia is an extreme fear of bug bites or infestation by small parasitic insects. They particularly fear the itching sensation that these bugs bring on. Most people aren't fond of creepy crawly bugs, but people with agoraphobia experience this on an overwhelming level. They will often feel an itching sensation just thinking of bugs, even when there are no bugs present. Personally, I get itchy when I think of centipedes, so that's why I chose them for this image. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 21. Nyctophobia is the intense fear of the night or of darkness. People with nyctophobia avoid situations where there isn't enough light and may stay indoors after the sun goes down. Oftentimes, the fear is not necessarily of the darkness itself, but what is lurking beneath it. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 22. I cannot believe we're on the last row of prompts. Here's day 22, coulrophobia. Coulrophobia is the fear of clowns. This phobia is extremely common, with 1 in 10 adults claiming they have a fear of clowns. I think what makes the aversion to clowns so strong is the makeup and how it distorts the person's real facial expressions. This creates feelings of distrust and not knowing a person's real intentions, just like we talked about with masklophobia. People with coulrophobia tend to put clowns in the uncanny valley category, where they know they're human, but there's something off about them that makes them feel uneasy. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 23. Demonophobia is the excessive fear of demons. This fear is typically rooted in religious beliefs, as demons are depicted as powerful entities that have the ability to possess humans or harm people in other ways. Not all demonophobia is rooted in religious values, but people often develop this fear while going through a period of doubt when it comes to their faith, or if they're going through major changes in religious traditions. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 24. Chiroptophobia is the intense fear of bats. Bat! Despite the fact that most bats are small, timid creatures, people with chiroptophobia believe that bats are dangerous and associated with evil. Many people associate bats with vampires thanks to Bram Stoker's Dracula, and since then they've traditionally been associated with harm and danger. Personally, I think they're really cute, and if I could have a little baby bat as a pet, I would. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 25. Heliophobia is the profound fear of the sun, sunlight, or any kind of bright light. In some cases, heliophobia could be a type of health anxiety where people are constantly worrying about possible sun damage and avoid prolonged exposure to UV rays. Although I didn't originally do this prompt in 2018, I did take inspiration from an old drawing I did in 2019 based on a nightmare I had, which maybe I'll go into that series at another time. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 26. Taphophobia is the abnormal fear of being buried alive. Before the era of modern medicine, this fear was not entirely irrational, as there had been numerous cases of people being buried alive accidentally. In the 18th century, safety coffins were invented in order to prevent premature burial. These coffins had a bell attached to a string above ground that allowed the occupant to signal that they have been buried alive. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 27. Spectrophobia is the fear of mirrors, or the fear of what may be reflected in them. Many people with spectrophobia fear reflective materials as well, as they can distort their features and appear slightly unreal, which some may find disturbing. There are also many superstitions and ghost stories linked to mirrors. Some people believe that a mirror reflects a person's soul and that other spirits can come through the mirrors. Here's the version that I drew in 2018, and I also actually drew it in 2019 as a part of my nightmare series because, of course, I had a nightmare about a mirror. I absolutely love the way this one turned out. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 28. Lepidopterophobia is the fear of butterflies or moths. Many people with a butterfly or moth phobia claim they are afraid of the constant fluttering or the sensation of a fluttering butterfly near their face. Both butterflies and moths are social creatures, and they often travel in groups. Some people who fear them are less afraid of a single butterfly or moth than they are of a large group. Here's the version from 2018, which was more focused on moths, and I drew inspiration from my 2019 Nightmare series for this one, which is still to this day the most vivid nightmare I've ever had. I definitely want to delve more into that series again sometime soon. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 29. Claustrophobia is the intense fear of confined or enclosed spaces. These individuals typically get nervous when they're in a tight place like an elevator, crowded room, or tunnels. For a person with claustrophobia, being in any of these situations can cause a sense of dread, like the world is going to end, even if they're not really in danger. I can't believe we only have 2 more left. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 30. Pediophobia is the irrational fear of dolls or inanimate objects that look human. While horror movies have definitely popularized the idea of haunted dolls, most people don't worry that a doll is actually going to harm them. It could be brought on by watching horror films with dolls or growing up hearing superstitions about dolls. This is where I think the uncanny valley creeps in yet again, since dolls have that almost human quality about them. Here's the version from 2018. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final day of Inktober, day 31. Samhainophobia is the fear of Halloween. Halloween has its roots in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, a pagan celebration to welcome the harvest at the end of summer. It is believed that the barriers between the physical world and the spirit world break down during Samhain, so people would wear costumes to ward off spirits. Many people with this phobia already have a terrible fear of ghosts, so the idea of spirits roaming freely on this day is not exactly fun for them. Thank you guys for another amazing year of Inktober. It was really fun to revisit the ones that I did in 2018 and look back on how much my art has grown over the years. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!